Fugate is a man of few words and much action. So I will not do well back at the office if I don't say what I have to say in a very short order, and that is, it's my privilege to introduce to you Administrator Craig Fugate.
Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I remember we had a meeting, and some of you were there because I can remember the faces. And we were sitting around the table, and it starts out, we've got a lot of issues. And I said, okay, I understand that. What's our solution? And you told me we needed to be able to communicate with you. That you bring expertise, but you also bring knowledge in communities that are hit in a disaster. That there may not be other voices. And that we oftentimes had done a lot of work with advocacy groups, but we weren't reaching to the professionals that serve those communities. Oftentimes we're the first responders in those communities, or provided the long-term rebuilding and support people needed, whether it was working with mental health or dealing with the social trauma that occurred in a disaster and looking at the long term. So I remember we had the dialogue and I had an ask. I said, you know, we're going to miss people if we try to go one-to-one to every group. But if you could agree to a structure that we could plug into, then as your membership grows, we won't miss somebody because they'll be plugged in. And so a lot longer than it takes, than I think it should take, but trust me, on my end, we got a lot of people, a lot of attorneys, everybody's got to be signing off on stuff and get it just right. And that's why I got to tell you, Reverend Myers and Marcus have the patience to deal with the bureaucracy and not lose focus on the outcome. So this is an outcome from that meeting. And so again, I don't sign memorandums lightly. I look at them as legal documents that describe a relationship so that when we are dealing with issues, both in sending information out, but also for you to send information in, we describe that relationship. That's why Nicole's here. This is one of the things we're going to be doing with intergovernmental affairs. There's a lot of things we do on a recurrent basis. And if you remember Sandy, we did a lot of that ad hoc. We want to move beyond that because we saw the value of the information you were providing us. But we want to formalize that. We don't want to make it just the exception. And we don't want to miss constituencies because we didn't have the right contact information, as leadership will change, right? So we want this agreement. We wanted this structure, and we're proud to be part of this, to sign this memorandum, to execute what you have put together, to fulfill from our discussion how we can best make sure we plug into all the organizations, both the give and the take, both the good and the bad, and the honest feedback telling us when we need to do better. All right? I want the honest feedback. If you remember the meeting, I said, don't sugarcoat it. Tell me what we got to do. And so that's what we want. Because I can't help people if I don't know what's going on. And you can tell us what's going on. So I appreciate that, and I thank you for that. And I'm ready to sign.